Homeostasis is the ability of living organisms to maintain a stable internal environment despite changes in the external surroundings. This stability is essential for survival, as even small fluctuations in factors such as body temperature, blood glucose, or pH can disrupt cellular functions. The body achieves this regulation through feedback loops, which act like control systems that detect, process, and respond to changes in internal conditions. A feedback loop is a biological mechanism that uses a cycle of events to regulate internal balance. It involves three main components: receptor or sensor, detects a change in the environment; control center, processes the information and decides on the response. Often, this is the brain or endocrine glands. Effector carries out the corrective action to restore balance. These components work together in a continuous cycle, ensuring that deviations from normal levels are corrected efficiently. Most homeostatic processes rely on negative feedback loops. In this system, the response works to reverse the direction of the change. One example where this applies is in body temperature regulation. When body temperature rises above the normal range, temperature receptors in the skin and hypothalamus detect the change. The hypothalamus, control center, triggers sweat production and blood vessel dilation, effectors, which reduce body heat. Conversely, if body temperature falls, the hypothalamus initiates shivering and blood vessel constriction to conserve heat. Another systemic example is in blood glucose regulation. After eating, blood glucose rises. The pancreas releases insulin, which allows cells to absorb glucose, lowering blood sugar back to normal. When blood glucose drops too low, the pancreas releases glucagon, which signals the liver to release stored glucose. Through negative feedback, stability is preserved by counteracting fluctuations. Unlike negative feedback, positive feedback loops amplify changes instead of reversing them. These are less common in homeostasis, but are vital in certain processes. A negative feedback loop applied to blood clotting. When a blood vessel is damaged, platelets adhere to the site and release chemicals that attract more platelets. This amplifying cycle continues until a clot is formed. Another example is in childbirth. During labor, the hormone oxytocin is released, stimulating stronger uterine contractions. These contractions cause more oxytocin to be released, further intensifying contractions until the baby is delivered. Positive feedback is usually part of processes that need to reach a definite endpoint. Homeostasis rarely depends on a single loop. Instead, multiple feedback loops interact. For example, dehydration triggers both thirst, a behavioral response, and the release of antidiuretic hormone ADH, which reduces water loss through urine. These interconnected loops ensure that homeostasis is flexible and adaptive. When feedback loops fail, the body struggles to maintain stability, leading to disease or dysfunction. Diabetes results from impaired glucose regulation. Hyperthermia or hypothermia can occur if temperature regulation fails. Hormonal imbalances may lead to conditions such as hyperthyroidism or Addison's disease. Understanding feedback loops is therefore crucial in medicine and biology. Feedback loops are central to maintaining homeostasis, acting as the body's internal regulatory systems. Negative feedback restores balance by reversing changes, while positive feedback amplifies processes until a goal is achieved. Together, these mechanisms highlight the remarkable adaptability of living organisms and their ability to survive in changing environments. Read the notes compiled for a more detailed understanding of feedback loops.